to the Bog and Smog Fantasy Cast with Smog. Bog is not here today, so you're stuck with Smog and Cole here. How you doing, Cole?
Doing great, Phil. Picked up a win in week 1, as it looks like yourself did also. So
As did I, and Bog did as well. So it's going good for the hosts of the show. So that's a nice sign. On this show, we're gonna have a week 1 recap of the matchups from week 1. See who lost horribly and who came away with some victories, and then we'll touch on the waiver wire. There's been some pickups there, and then there's also been some trades happening. Monday I did a trade. You did a couple trades, I think, maybe just one. There's been Ben did a couple trades. We'll talk about them. And then we'll get into the week 2 matchups and see what it looks like this week coming up, starting tomorrow, Thursday night. And we'll end with Pizza Party. There is a loser of week 1. There was 6 players. It was me, Nick, Cole, you, Rasky, Ben, and Michael Tweeton. So thank you for joining on that, guys. It's awesome time, even when I take the L. But we'll get into all that a little later. So let's start off with week 1. Why don't you talk about my game with Joe, and then I'll talk about yours afterwards.
Sure. Yeah, you eked out a good win here. Joe, I think, had probably the most points in a loss this week, if I'm not mistaken.
Does look like it, yep.
Yeah. But no, you had some real great production from Michael Pittman. We didn't really see that with a rookie quarterback happening right away. And Austin Eckler was Austin Eckler. And, Patrick Mahomes did his bare minimum, which is 20 points. So, no, you picked up a good win here. Joe had some good performances too, but you were able to offset that. Even the Jets defense, 20 points.
Yeah, I was pretty comfortable going into Monday night, and then Jets defense coming away with 20, almost upset me a little bit. But
Josh Allen upset me a little bit too. So.
That's true, yeah. We'll talk about that right now. You won by 9. It was 99-90. And I told you, and you kind of said this too, I can't have Stephon Diggs go off and Josh Allen not. And that's kind of what happened. Josh Allen got you 12 points. Stephon Diggs got Ben 21. So it was almost, a little bit of an upset, but you were able to come out with a win with Tony Pollard with 21 points. Sutton had actually a touchdown, so that helps a lot. And then Mike Evans against the lowly Minnesota Vikings did really well for you. So pretty consistent on your side, whereas Ben's side, that Burrow Chase stack did not. I mean, if that just went okay, he would have taken this week, but it did not. Burrow got him 3 points.
Yeah,
it's too bad, Ben.
A very atypical game, especially with the rainy weather that was happening. So that game was not really slated to be a high performing, high point scoring game. So I get why it happened, but if you ever get 3 points from Joe Burrow this year, I would be surprised again. So he's going to finish with 20 or more almost every week. So that would have been
traded for that stack in the offseason, and week 1 it did not pan out. But it's going to get better.
Right.
It's only up from here.
Yep.
How about, do you want to talk about the big winner of this week with the most points,
our commish,
Mr. Boggle Slim?
Sir Davos, throwing up 134 big boys, taking down Michael Tweeton. And he did it on Amon Ra. He did it on Calvin Ridley, who I just traded to him, damn you. And DJ Metcalf getting up 12. But the real winner on Nick's team, the Dallas Cowboy defense, putting up 37 points against the Giants, who put up no fight, and then just looking forward to next week, probably about the third quarter of that game. They were already doing their game planning for. They play the Cardinals this week, a little easier matchup for them. But
Yes.
no, way to go, Nick. Darn you. What did you see?
That defense, 37 points is ridiculous.
Yeah,
now, if he had a defense that got him 0, he still would have won by a bit, like 8 points or so, or 6 points or something. But that is tough.
What did you see on the other side of the ball for Michael's team?
Well, Christian McCaffrey did Christian McCaffrey things. Jefferson did Jefferson things. The only big thing is, just like that Cincinnati game, T. Higgins got a goose egg. He was targeted 8 times, didn't get a reception. That's not going to sustain that way, right? He's going to have those receptions. He's going to get the same amount of targets. It's going to get better for him. And then, Higbee with a 6, that's fine. He's a tight end, serviceable tight end. He's not going to get you anything crazy. But Peoples-Jones with a 1, Pacheco with a little bit lower. Captain Kirk Cousins is not going to... He's kind of living right where you have him, 17-ish points, right? He's going to be 15 to 20, maybe 25 points. So a fine game for you, Michael Tweeden, but too bad you had to go up against the leading scorer so far, Nick. Yeah, so I guess the 2 more. We have Rando Guy Out East, Tanner, versus Natural Born Kyler's Ethan. And this one should have been much closer. It was, 87 points for Tanner, 102 points for Ethan. It could have been closer. It could have been, actually... I think something happened with this game. Tanner put in DJ Moore, and sitting on his bench is Brandon Ayuk with 28.9 points. Had a massive game. If he just made that one little switch, could have won by 10. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, Ayuk last year was an absolute monster. He benefited from some injuries from, Debo being out a few games, Kittle being out a few games, and we thought maybe this year he'll regress back to kind of what he was the year before. But nope, he picked off where he left off. Him and Birdie, just a power duo, just throwing up 28 points. So that's tough to see on your bench, but I think you'll recover. A lot of atypical performances. Jalen Hurts with only 12, CeeDee Lamb not even getting double digits, Barkley getting a paltry 7.8 points. He will not do that again to you this year, hopefully. And then on the other side of the ball, you had Ethan put up 23 points with Jordan Love. Let's hope that's just a fluke and he's not that good. I'm going to hope that was
done again.
Right. I'm just going to...
Not 3 in a row.
I'm going to hope that's just how bad the Bears are, and I do actually genuinely believe that's why it was so good. But, hey, look at that. Jordan Addison starting off his career with a touchdown and 60 yards, so he's already going to be a big player in our offense, and we're going to be playing from behind a lot. So I think that'll be a consistent thing. And the unfortunate thing for Ethan's team is he does lose J.K. Dobbins for the season, possibly forever, depending on how he heals. I mean,
he has no more legs to go through. I mean, those things have been torn apart.
So a great win for Ethan, but a terrible loss at the same time.
Yes, yeah. It does look like James Cook is the guy in Buffalo. Now they're using him more, and Jahmyr Gibbs will definitely be awesome. Like the second half of the year, right? I think that will kind of he'll get more than 7 carries and
Yep.
two targets. So
I agree. As the season progresses, I think David Montgomery's role kind of slowly diminishes, whereas Gibbs' role just kind of increases from this point on. So,
right, and it does look like also Tyler Algier has a role in the Atlanta Falcons backfield along with Bijan. So him having him on the bench and with Mostert, and he's going to be fine with that J.K. Dobbins injury, but that's too bad. J.K. was supposed to break out something fierce, but what can you do?
yeah.
And I think we have one more. Do you want to go with Tyler versus Rasky?
So we get to see our first taste of Anthony Richardson, and it was quite delicious, actually. So way to go, Tyler, if this is a assessment of what he's going to be in his career. You've got quite a gem here. And then also with Zay Jones having a higher production week. So I think we're seeing what that Jacksonville offense is going to be is Calvin Ridley 1, Zay Jones 2. And unfortunately, that means Christian Kirk gets left somewhere in the rotation for when they get a maybe wide receiver 5 and 4 sets. It's going to be a battle. But you got some other good talent that you picked up this offseason too with Puka Nacua getting 15 targets and 119 yards. I don't think anybody would have forecasted that. And if they were, I would call them a liar.
Yeah.
What did you see on Jordan's team?
Well, I saw something scary. He scored 104 points, which is a pretty good outing, right? Pretty good, but he also, like Lamar Jackson, he didn't have Mark Andrews out there. Lamar Jackson had a lackluster game of 7.5 points. Bijan is going to be good all year. Tyreek Hill is going to be good all year. 39 points, nuts. It's a little scary to know that with Lamar Jackson usually putting up over 20 points and Mark Andrews kind of in the 15-point range, it's a little unsettling that he might be looking at some bigger scores. I mean, Drake London even gave him a 0. Najee Harris gave him 4. So, like, he's got some big players that can put up some big points.
Yeah.
So that's a little scary. Now, Garrett Wilson with A-Rod or Aaron Rodgers going down in the first 4 snaps, probably
goodness.
forever. Unfortunately for him, I was excited to watch the Jets hype unfold, but his Achilles did instead.
Oh my goodness.
So that's too bad.
I was genuinely excited to see what the offense was going to look like with Aaron Rodgers, and I feel bad for Aaron. I feel bad for the Jets.
I feel bad for Jets fans.
Yeah, I feel like they got robbed. I just wanted to see, even if it was one game, they deserved at least one full game of them, and they couldn't even get that.
I know, it's unfortunate.
But no, there's the thing on Jordan's team too is, yeah, Drake London putting up a 0. I think that's not going to happen every week, but that just shows the kind of the volatility his team has. Where, like you said, Lamar Jackson might have a week where he puts up 35. Tyreek Hill can do 39 points here and there, and Drake London and Garrett Wilson will probably have up weeks too. But the problem with losing Aaron Rodgers is maybe the ceiling on Garrett Wilson's capped now with Zach Wilson as your quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think he's going to have some amazing weeks, and other weeks might be, this, with some people going off and some people not. 100 is kind of where his average is going to be, and he could get close to 200 at some points, or he could get close to 70. So it'll be nice seeing what his team, how it plays out. But yeah, that was the recap. We have Sir Davos Nick in first because he has the most points, and then you have me in second. That was nice to see.
Yeah.
And then Rasky in third, Ethan in fourth, you in fifth, and then all the losers of the week.
Yeah. Take that first loss.
Yeah, gone for good. You can't even make the playoffs now.
Your season's done. Pack it up.
No, the good thing is there is so many more games, and one loss is you just gotta forget about it and go on to week 2. So, but before we go on to week 2, is there any? We had a trade before the waivers hit. It was my I traded with Tweetin.
Oh yeah.
It was I gave him Juju Smith-Schuster and Antonio Gibson. They've kind of been on my roster for a very long time, and Juju had a great season last year. I mean, I think he had 800 yards, 7 touchdowns or something. Pretty serviceable wide receiver 3. So he gets depth with that. Antonio Gibson's volatile. He was benched kind of last year for fumbling, but then when he doesn't fumble, plays really. He's really good. I was tired of him. But I got Clyde Edwards-Helaire and a second round of next year. I'm not high on Clyde at all, but I can stick him in a flex if I need to. But for that second round, I'm trying to get my team a little bit younger. So picks is what I wanted. So what do you think about that trade?
Oh, I thought it was good. I think it does exactly what you want it to do, and you're pivoting off some older, more veteran players that are more established and taking an upside swing with that draft pick and just a little extra compensation with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's some weeks he's going to show up and some weeks he's not. That's just how the Chiefs offense is unless you're Travis Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right. Yep.
And then
I thought it was a good trade for both sides. So,
and then I also had a trade a little bit before that one with Nick. I traded away Cam Akers, who I couldn't trade away all last year if I tried. But I did pair him with Calvin Ridley and a third-round pick, and in return, I received Amari Cooper, Tank Bigsby, a rookie from this year, and a 2025 second-round pick. So I kind of made the same pivot you did. I kind of gave up some more well-known commodities. I did get Amari Cooper, who's a little older, but I did get a second-round pick and Tank Bigsby with some good upside potential this year, possibly. So trying to get younger, trying to also be competitive, but at the same time not putting all my eggs in one basket.
Yeah, I thought that trade was good for both sides as well. And then those trades happened. Then we got waivers running. And then after waivers ran, I think today there's been 2 trades.
Yeah.
Right? Is there, or 3?
No, Ben's
Just
been a
2,
busy
just
boy.
2.
Let's see. 1, 2. Yeah, I see 2 trades today, unless I'm off somewhere.
Yeah, anyway. What's your favorite waiver pickup of the week?
Ooh. So when the waivers ran today, I immediately thought, should have put some money on Joshua Kelly. Because it appears he's going to be more involved this year, or maybe that Austin Eckler just was kind of banged up from that game, so that's why he got so much of that offense. But either way, it's a great backup plan, or it's a great pivot because maybe he's going to be the number 1 next year, and Austin Eckler might be having his last relevant year of fantasy production. Is that kind of what you thought when you made this bid?
Yeah, so obviously I made a bid. I could have bid $30 less and got him, but I really, really wanted him because I have Eckler on my team, and he was kind of banged up with an ankle injury. He was limping that game. But even before the limping, Joshua Kelly was pretty involved, and it kind of reminded me of just like when I had Melvin Gordon, and I picked up Austin Eckler because, he's getting more involved, and Melvin Gordon was a little hurt. So, and then that transition happened, and maybe it happens again. Maybe I'm just a full-on Chargers running back. I always have them on my team. So I've spent $57, which is a good amount of fab on Josh Kelly. And yeah, that's my favorite, obviously.
Yeah, another good pickup I think you made was picking up Tutu Atwell. He hasn't really been relevant in fantasy till this point, and maybe he's getting the not Cooper Cup bonus where since he's out of the offense right now. He's getting this little boost, but he had a very significant chunk of that offense this past week. So hopefully that's a sign of maybe him carving out a future role for them. So I do like that for $11. That's kind of a steal, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he was much better than Mecole Hardman, who I dropped for him. So I'm fine. I'm happy with that too. For some depth, I'm not going to try and start him, but if I have to, I will.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Tyler got Kendrick Bourne, who looked like he was the number one on the number one receiver on the Patriots that game. So let's see if that continues. That's a good pickup, I thought. And then obviously Justice Hill with J.K. going down. You obviously need to have some running backs in Baltimore. So that was a good pickup by Spear. I like both of his pickups. So nice to see.
And then Ben, with the two trades we'd mentioned earlier, trading for, let's see, he got rid of a Packer and then he received a Packer a few moments later tonight, shipping away Romeo Dobbs to me in exchange for Mike Evans. So a player that's a little bit more established, it's going to have a higher ceiling in Mike Evans versus Romeo Dobbs, a younger player. So a similar move that me and you kind of like doing when you don't really want to bet all in on this season right now. You kind of want to leverage it. So what did you think of Aaron Jones or AJ Dillon for a second round?
Yeah, so he got AJ Dillon in the trade. I can't see it on the chat for whatever reason, but
he received AJ Dillon. Yep.
He received AJ Dillon, gave up a second. I think AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones, I think he has Aaron Jones, right?
Yes, I think so. That's correct.
Did Aaron Jones get injured? I thought he was. Of course, it's always good to have a handcuff, especially if somebody gets injured or is getting older. Aaron Jones is getting older. I think AJ Dillon will. I think at the middle of the season it'll flip over to AJ Dillon getting more targets and carries. So I thought it was a good pick for him.
Yeah,
Aaron, some of that running back.
Yeah, Aaron Jones went out early of last weekend's game with a hamstring thing, and I do not believe he practiced today. So I think it might be a thing where it's bothering for a couple of weeks. And what a great pivot in AJ Dillon just to be right there and ready to go. So
yeah, I thought that was good. All right, well, that was the waivers and the trades. It's looking like a healthy league week one where things are moving around. I have a couple of trade offers sitting over here that I've been thinking about. We won't get into that. Maybe next week. But let's look forward to week 2. And we got some juicy matchups here. Are you looking forward?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Just looking.
Okay. We have some juicy matchups. I'm going to start with your game versus the Commissioner. Right now, Sleeper says it's a 50-50 shot, 106 to 107. Obviously that is just a projection of what will not happen, most likely. So, you versus Nick. I mean, it is a 50-50 shot right now. I think I like his receivers more than your receivers, so I'm going to give him the slight edge. But that's it. I think everybody obviously Josh Allen can go off for any amount. Pollard, we saw, could go off. Henry kind of had a weird week 1. Did he not get that many points?
12 or 13.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it was fine. But I think your running backs will take it. I think his receivers will take it, and I think it's going to be real close. So I'll give the edge to the Bog one, but it's very slight edge.
Oh no, I think that's a fair assessment. That's kind of how I see it turning out too. So hopefully a close game. Maybe we can end it in a tie. Yeah. either
Love ties.
either way, it'll be an exciting one to watch. So,
All right. Next up, my game versus Rasky. What do you think about this game?
oh boy, what sleepers got this one 52-48. So, another real coin flip. You got Pat Mahomes going against Jacksonville, and I think that's going to be a pretty high scoring game. So, I think that you got the quarterback edge there. So, there's 1 point for you. At the running back position, I think Austin Eckler might not play this week, so that's a little upsetting. But you do got the Joshua Kelly pivot. I think Joe Mixon will have a much better game this week, and I think Travis Kelce will play. So you got tight end, possibly one. Running backs a coin flip, and wide receivers.
He's got Tyreek Hill.
I'll give him the edge because of Tyreek,
That's
and
it.
I genuinely think Garrett Wilson's still going to be good this year. I just don't, I think we just lost his ceiling where he finishes in the top 10 wide receivers. He'll probably be 12, 13, 14, 15. Still very, very productive. So, what do you see on Jordan's side of the ball that scares you?
I mean, Lamar and Mark Andrews scares me just as much as, maybe a little less than Mahomes and Kelsey, but it's still scary. Bijan is one game in the NFL and looks amazing. Tyreek Hill is obviously the scariest boy alive. So, yeah, there's some, again, kind of like what we said earlier with his hit. Like, when his players hit, they're going to knock me out. So that's what scares me. But hopefully they don't all hit at the same time.
I'll give you the edge by about 5 points just because you have slight quarterback edge, slight tight end edge. So
yeah, hopefully that's the way it turns out. All right, I'll talk about the fantasy football team. Ben versus Are Ya Ready for Football? Tweeting. This game should go Ben's way if Joe Burrow gets more than 3 points and Jamar Chase gets more than 6. I think there's some definite advantage on Tweeten's side with McCaffrey. Obviously, he did really well. Jefferson is going to do really well. T. Higgins will not goose him this week. But then on Ben's side, the Joe Burrow Jamar Chase stack is better than the Kirk Cousins Jefferson stack, only because Joe Burrow versus Cousins, way higher ceiling. Obviously, it didn't look like that last week, but it's just that's the way it is. So I'll give the edge to Ben's team.
Yeah, and I think the scariest thing for Michael Tweeden's team this week is we play Philadelphia tomorrow night on a short week on the road. I am not thinking we're going to put up much of a fight, unfortunately. I would love to be proven wrong, but we got torn up last year when we went to Philadelphia, and our offensive line had some issues last week. So unless we right the ship on those, I think we're going to be in trouble. And yeah, I'm going to assume Ben's going to probably take care of business here.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk the Joe Ethan game?
I certainly do. Justin Fields for Joe's team gonna probably out edge Justin Love. Nope, that's not a person. Jordan Love. I do worry about how Justin Fields looked last week. He wasn't great, so there could be the game decided right there. Where if Justin Fields just puts up 10 or 5 points, then I'll give the edge to Ethan's team. But Joe just has so much more depth at the wide receiver position that I think I'll give him. The only reason I'm like I said, I'm just worried about that Vikings-Eagles game. So like Addison and Hawkinson are not my favorite picks right now, but normally I think this would be a lot closer matchup. But I'll give the edge to Joe.
Yeah, we got Addison and Hawkinson versus A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, and Dallas Goedert. It'll be decided after tomorrow night's game, I think.
Yeah, we'll know.
Yeah, well, I think we'll have a better idea there. So, all right, in the last matchup, we have Tyler versus Tanner, rando guy out east, versus Nectar of the Gods. Right now, it's giving a 68% towards Tanner's team. And I think that makes sense. Jalen Hurts versus Anthony Richardson. Obviously, Hurts has the advantage. Anthony Richardson, I'm excited to watch him all year, like in his career. I'm just excited for the guy. His first outing was awesome. Hopefully, he puts up another 20 points. But then the running back, we have Jamal Williams versus Justice Hill versus Montgomery and Barkley. Obviously, I think Barkley and Montgomery have the upper hand there, but Jamal Williams can blast off, and Justice Hill got 2 touchdowns. Maybe he gets 2 more, Who knows? And then the wide receiver depth that Tanner has is scary. So like CeeDee Lamb, Olave, Ayuk are his starters. They should all put up double digits. Where on the other side, Puka Nacua, I want to watch him as well. He's 15 targets. Like he was obviously planted in this offense for the Rams. So I think he'll be fun to watch. But Zay Jones, Puka, and Josh Reynolds, slight edge to Tanner's side again. So yeah, Tanner's probably going to win this, but things have gone crazier. So
I agree.
All right. So that's the matchups in week 2. Is there any other waiver additions? No, nothing like. Oh, Boggle Slim made a pickup of Allen Robinson, and he got 2 poop emojis for it.
This was
I'm going to give him a 3rd poop emoji on.
There we go. This was midstream.
Yeah.
So we all know. I'm not pooping because one of those poops is mine. I'm not pooping. Okay. I'm not pooping on Allen Robinson in terms of fantasy football. I'm pooping on him in terms of the teams that get him in the NFL as of last year. Just aren't rewarded for the compensation they spent on him. Mm-hmm. So that's where he deserves poop. But yeah, he actually might be a pretty good pickup at this point in the year because of Deontay Johnson going out with an injury and possibly going to be out for 4 to 5 weeks. So I think right away he's looking at wide receiver 2 upside, which is something that player should have every year, but for whatever reason last year that was not the case.
Yep. All right, well, on to the pizza party. There was 6 players last week.
Yeah, there
1
was.
loser and 1 winner. I happened to lose, and let me tell you why. Much like how Ben lost, my stack was Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. That was like my main, all these guys are going to put up some points. Then I got J.K. Dobbins, Raheem Mostert, Nico Collins, fine, 14 points. Tyler Higbee, fine, about 8. Chris Godwin, 10. Commanders, 11. Adam Thielen, 3 points. So, yeah, kind of just a bum of a team. And then Rasky won with 173 points. I only had 83 points. So he got 90 more points than the loser because he had Tua and Tyreek Hill stack. And that alone gave him like 80 points. That could have beat my team. But then he had McCaffrey on top of that and Rashid Shaheed, which put up 20 points. He just did well. So, Rasky, I owe you a pizza. I will be getting in contact with you to see when you want that pizza on your doorstep. So,
that is the success of the pizza party right there. Phil buying everybody pizza. So
yeah. So please, so that was it. That was the show for this week. If you want into the pizza party, let us know. We will invite you. It's totally free. It's fun. You might get a pizza. You might have to buy a pizza, but it's okay.
See you, boys.
Goodbye.